Thank you so much, first of all, for giving your lovely presence this wonderful day. Namaste, Namaskar, Vadakam, Kemcho, Kasakai, Jai Jinendra. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. A very good morning and very warm welcome to the 5th MHM India Summit 2025. Ladies and gentlemen, can we start this wonderful day with a huge round of applause? Thank you so much. Well, this 5th MHM India Summit, which is 2025, presented by the Gramalaya and the Ministry of the Jal Shakti and the Detol Banega Swasth India with the support of the Bank of America. Ladies and gentlemen, we gather here to engage to this largest conclave of the menstrual hygiene management. And I'm your host, Ankit Kanishka Gola, for this wonderful day. We're going to have a lot of panel discussions here today. And of course, so much insightful thoughts, so many discussions, and of course, we're going to get some conclusion over to the Swasth India. Today, we bring together here to the esteemed gathering of the NGOs, policymakers, CSR leaders, medical experts, educators, corporates, and the youth networks unite by the one powerful mission, advancing the menstrual health and the sustainable hygiene solution across the India. For nearly 4 decades, Gramalaya, founded by the Padma Shri awardee Shri Damodaran has been a national leader of the water sanitization and the menstrual hygiene management as a national key resource center under the Ministry of the Jal Shakti. Gramalaya has created community-led models of that inspire, influence policies and across the country. Their extraordinary impact includes the 1,200 plus adolescent girls friendly toilet complexes, 180 plus renovated community toilets, 20 lakh women and girls reached, 8 lakh reusable eco-friendly pads distributed, and 250 plus villages declared menstrual waste-free sustainable. Gramalaya also pioneered the India's first national MHM summit in 2019, which has now evolved into the high-impact platform shaping innovation awareness, inclusive menstrual health practices nationwide. As we begin this year, summit and we reframe the collective, committed and the aligned sustainable and the period positive India with the nation of the mission like Jal Jeevan mission and the Swachh Bharat mission. Ladies and gentlemen, I request everyone to please welcome the dignitaries on the dais. Please give it a hand and let's welcome one by one. We have the reputed guests, one by one, I'm going to call them. Please give it a hand and let's welcome Professor Shri Ravi Bhatnagar, sir, Director of the Corporate Communications, Corporate Affairs, SOA, MENARP Africa, Reckitt, a global policy expert and has been worked across the APCA Africa, South Asia. Has started his career with the World Bank and contributed to the major health initiatives, including the policy and accreditation of the global access of initial medicines. He has served on the key nations committees and the ECOSM and FICCI Government of India. Has been honored the internationally include of the WTO Hall of Fame and Indian Achievers Award and the Gandhi Medal honor. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, please give it a hand for Professor Shri Ravi Bhatnagar, sir. Now we have the next dignitary. I would love to invite on stage. Please. Ladies and gentlemen, it is our privilege to introduce the next dignitary, the Padma Shri, Mr. S. Damodaran, the founder of CEO of Gramalaya. For over 3.5 decades, he has dedicated his life to the improving sanitization and the safe drinking water to menstrual hygiene across rural, urban, and coastal and tribal India. He has contributed to every major national sanitization movement from the 1980s campaign to the Swachh Bharat mission. Under his leadership, Gramalaya has promoted over 6 lakhs household toilets, trained more than 100 plus NGOs, and created sustainable, life-changing models for communities, especially women and adolescent girls. Honors with the Padma Shri in 2022, he remains one of the India's most respected champions of the sanitization and dignity. Give it a hand, everyone, once again for Shri M.S. Damodaranji. Thank you so much. Now, we are moving forward for the next dignitary. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it a hand and let's welcome none other than Mr. Mohammed Asif. Mohammed Asif is the Executive Director of CEO and the Plan International India Chapter. has been more than 25 years of work experience in the social development sector with the more than 20 years of senior management roles. His team of 6 directors, 2 senior managers and 800 plus development practitioners committed to advancing right development to the underprivileged children and the equality of the girls enabled him deliver the plan-mended child center. Ladies and gentlemen, please once again give it a hand to the Mohammed Asif sir. Now it's time to welcome our next dignitary over here. Please welcome Ms. Anju Bist, the Managing Director of Saukhyam Foundation in the co-creator in the world's first reusable banana fiber menstrual pads and the leading advocate of the sustainable period care. Our recipient of the Women Transforming India Award and several national honors. She is driving research with the top gynecologist and the how reusable products can support. Thank you so much, ma'am, for giving your lovely presence here. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our next dignitary. We have, yes, over here. I think you have been waiting for this. Ladies and gentlemen, we are honoring to welcome the next dignitary, Mrs. Sneha Shergill. Please, Mrs. India, Queen of Substance 2016, MHM Brand Ambassador of Gramalaya, with over 2 decades of performing arts, choreography, drama, and directing musicals. And she is also channel of the creativity into the corporate training and the women's empowerment through the pageant and grooming. A strong voice of the animal welfare, she rescues cares for the 100 of the stray dogs every day and spreading awareness on the compassion and community responsibility. As a Gramalaya ambassador, she actively promotes sustainable and menstrual hygiene across India. Please give it a hand once again for Mrs. Sneha Shergill. Now please welcome none other than our next dignitary, Mr. Arpan Sarkar, the Economist at the Ministry of Jal Shakti, Government of India. Mr. Arpan Sarkar, with the over 2 decades of experience in the policy research and program management, has contributed extensively to the national flagship missions across sanitation, urban and rural development, and municipal reforms of the poverty alleviation. His work spans government ministries, leading think tanks, and the consulting firms, bringing deep expertise to the practitioner planning. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it a hand for Mr. Arpan Sarkar. Thank you so much, all the dignitaries, for your lovely presence for this afternoon. Now, we are proceeding for the next segment. I request everyone, as we are living in India, and we are proudly going to say this thing, everything going to start with the national anthem, and we are proud to be Indian. Please, I request, kindly stand at your places for the national anthem.
जन गण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मागे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे.
Thank you so much, everyone. Now, we are proceeding for the next segment. As since, again, we are living in India, we are rooted with the culture, and of course, in our culture, the tradition follows with the name, with the taking of the blessing of Almighty. Now we are requesting our dignitaries to light the lamp and proceeding for the day. Requesting Professor Shri Bhatnagar, sir, please. do the honor for the light the lamp first. Requesting Shri Damodar sir, please kindly do the honor. Please kindly do the honor, Mohammed Asif sir. Please do the honor, Mr. Arpan de Sarkar sir. Everyone, please join your hands to start this auspicious day on this great note. I request Mrs. Sneha, Shergill and Mrs. Anju, Bist, please do the honor. Thank you so much. Such a wonderful day. I think we have started in a very good note. And in this afternoon, in this day, we're going to learn a lot. We're going to find some solutions, of course. So Ravi, sir, please kindly do the honor. Everyone wants to listen to you, I think, after this. This is quite a very special category that you're receiving. Please do the honor.
Good morning, everyone. First of all, thank you, Damodaran sir, for having me here. As you said, like we are supporting you, it's very likewise. You're also supporting us and trying to make this country a better place to live. Today, a lot of my memories came back to me. I am a biker myself, did more than 30 countries, have a lot of individual achievements to my name, and there are a lot of books like Bump on the Road and many others which are by Penguin and others. So they have written about my journeys during the COVID, on the hand wash, on educating the girls, and many other things in my career. By education, I'm an economist, sir, and served in the World Bank for over 10 years as a health sector reform specialist for India, Nepal, Sri Lanka, and Bangladesh. And from there, I took the second gear where I started working with Hillary Clinton and worked on the global price reduction for the ARVs, which are for the HIV medicine. Successfully could reduce the prices of the HIV drugs, not just for the Indians, but for a large populations which is there in South Africa, Sub-Saharan Africa, Nigeria, and other places. And from there, the third gear I took, I'm talking about gears because I have just met my biker friends. On the third gear, like, what I could do is like working with all of you in the room for a few years. There are a lot of known names and faces in this room. Some of them I just meet physically once in a year, but connected to them over Insta, Facebook, and other places throughout the year. I comment, they also share their lives, their work. It's always been inspiring. The best part is to see a mix of people. Some of them are my personal mentors, friends. And after receiving this India award, what we see, I very well recall Neerajji, who is sitting in the front row from Path when he was a country head of water raid, right? We could create the first Guinness Book of Records together in the state of Madhya Pradesh for the hand washing. From there, I met some bikers now, so some biking chronicles, if I see, it's amazing way men are involved. We talk about breaking the taboo. We talk about from hush-hush talks to the mainstream discussions in a five-star hotel, on the roads, on the streets, during the COVID, before the COVID, after the COVID, and the journey still continues. Also, there are some very young friends sitting in this audience whom I am personally very inspired from. We have Dr. Komal here. We have ma'am, you also here from Odisha. So there are some friends who have always keeping us on toes, and then some very senior friends who run the big organizations, like ma'am from Hamjoli Trust, right? Yes, from Pune. And then Asif is there on the dais, and many others I know personally. It looks like an extended family to me. And we as a company don't make any of the sanitary products. What really inspired me was my college days when I was studying in Chennai in Loyola. And during I was studying economics there. And I wanted to work on a paper which is the macroeconomics and women, and the context was basically female genital mutilation. How does that impact the gross domestic product of the country? And then comes the discussions about, mensuration and other things attached to that. That was a time when I first worked on a paper, and I said, we need to move from the gross domestic product to the gross domestic behavior. So, and the paper got a lot of accolades across the globe, got published in PLOS, in BMJ, and in some of the other places too. Some of the learnings from there I took to in my previous assignments, where I took my work to some of the conflict-ridden areas like in Sudan, in Papua New Guinea, in Afghanistan in the earlier days. And I could see like the learnings from India are still relevant. By the way, this whole week has been a very, very charging week for me. We just concluded the World Toilet Day yesterday, which happened to be 25th anniversary of the World Toilet Day. Who's who of India and the world was there. And I really think like we are at the 5th summit today. I don't think so. We will be needing 20 more years to celebrate the menstrual hygiene day. We'll be moving fast. We will be moving faster. We should aim to make sure like more innovation happens. More champions are there on the ground. And it is also a very important part to break the ceilings. Because nowadays we talk about the period leaves, we talk about the newer technologies, we talk about the nanotech, we talk about the naturals, we are talking about the ingredients, we are talking about the newer packaging, we're talking about the new age campaigns, and the challenges what you give to the younger population. There is a very young guy, maybe 22 years old. 3 days back, I challenged him, and I told him, I am going to come to the 5th MHM India Summit. Can you do something for me? He's a gamer by education. If someone can put that slide here, which was being shared in the morning. In 3 days, a 22 years old guy comes to me with a QR code with an MHM Buddy full app, which is Android as well as iOS ready, which will be ready to host in next 10 days. And it is the power what a 22-year-old can give you in your pockets, whatsoever you want to know, want to do, you can do with this app. I'm not saying like I have invested heavily, I have spent millions. It was a small challenge what we made. Second challenge was what we did with Neeraj a month back. That was the MCH challenge, Maternal and Childhood Challenge, the tech challenge. 60 plus innovators came. They applied, 3 got selected, they got awarded. Now they are serving few of the aspirational blocks in India. Reckitt works in around 380 aspirational blocks out of 500 aspirational blocks in India. I challenged Dr. Komal, she is in the second row, you can meet her. This India story for the world should go to Davos and the World Economic Forum. So she said, I have a beautiful idea, can we have a hygiene app, which is on the WhatsApp, we have in 22 Indian languages, can we give it to the world? I said, perfect, so do it. So this Davos in the World Economic Forum, India along with the ministers launched the app in French, English, Mandarin and Spanish, which is available. And a lot of Francophone countries in Africa, A lot of European countries in Europe are already using the work what we have created in India. India is a powerhouse. India is a powerhouse of innovation. India is a powerhouse of young people. India is a powerhouse of newer kind of politics. India is a powerhouse of lot of things which we never thought like which will be eradicated in our lifetimes. One of them is very close to my heart, which is polio. We are polio free. I was born in 80s, so I have not seen, smallpox. It was already eradicated. We are on the mission like, we are able to reduce significantly, the deaths occurring from diarrhea. Otherwise, we were seen as one of the countries which was like Pakistan and was like Nigeria. We are doing far better. India is very famous now for its COVID diplomacy when world was not supporting each other. By the virtue of vaccines, India was the one who opened its vaccine corridors for all the world and provided it. So some of the solutions from the MHM summit which are there, I personally promise to take it to the world. I personally promise to take it to the parts of India. There are policy reforms which have been happening. There are policy reforms in India which have happened. We can't say MHM is one of the different agenda. It needed an attention. Now it needs an accelerated progress. And when I say accelerated progress in terms of not just from the marketing point of view, but largely from the point of view of doing the social good and making sure new age enterprises also come. I don't know a single, like there was a dot-com boom, there was a e-com boom, now there is boom of quick commerce. So how fast Gramalaya can bring its sanitary napkins, which are eco-sensitive, can come on the quick commerce, how it can be on the Instamart where the delivery time is 5 minutes to 7 minutes, how you actually upgrade the game and make the game faster. I have personally seen in Cannes what India wins and what world wins. I will not name the company, but I must say the wins should happen based on the principles of One Health, which is one planet, and we should take care of our animals, we should take care of our people, we should take care of all the things which needs to be. And it should not just be a commercial endeavor like these many free supplies of sanitary napkins given. Hence, we are great. The greatness comes when we don't destroy our planets. We have seen the floods this time. We are seeing the earthquakes. We are seeing the impacts of the climate change. The impact of the climate change will also happen on our bodies. It will happen on our cycles, on the periods, on the cramps, on the newer viruses, on the newer bacterias. And, every time something happens to us, we pop up newer kind of pills, which are sometimes Gen 3 antibiotics, Gen 2 antibiotics and all that. And we all will have the antimicrobial resistance. The cycle is great to understand. More research is needed from India specifically. How for the AMR also, because a lot of women go under the period pains. Sometimes doctors say take X medicine, Y medicine. Sometimes it's antibiotics. Sometimes it's painkillers. Are we filling ourselves with all that, which will make us, our bodies not react to the medicines when we actually need it? There is a lot which comes to my mind because this whole topic is so exciting, and the best part is doing the programs where there is equal men or the male participation, starting from the schools. Like now we talk about the good touch, bad touch, etc. We talk about hand washing and many other things, and the woman's life in the first 1,000 days from losing the first menstrual period till the child attains 2 years of age. So it's super important, in the whole cycle, where do women fit and what is the male participation and the role of those who are not the direct, directly participating. So with this, I open it for the other, important guests who have come. And I think from guests, they will turn into allies in the future. And some of us are already allies. And allyship is very important if we really want to make sure this movement doesn't die. Yesterday, when I was in a panel with the Secretary of Ministry of Jal Shakti, as well as Urban Housing and Development, we were discussing about what media covers nowadays. It's the Kim Kardashian's breakfast. It's the rift between Hardik Pandya and his ex-spouse, and how do Malaika Arora is still actually very beautiful. We also talk about the saris like patolas and kanjivarams. And we also talk about the climate change and many other things. This whole agenda of MHM is also competing with many other agendas. Some of them are social, some of them are non-social, some of them are media-driven. We need to make sure like this agenda stays with the media, and our friends from the media write, our friends of the media get engaged, and we churn out those researches which are good for the India. And if they are good for India, they are good for the world, because we say Vasudev Kutumbakam, which means world is one family. What happens in India? We travel to US, we travel to Africa, we travel to Russia, Pakistan, and all the things, all the places now. And they also come here. It should be more learning. Like yesterday, there was a very fantastic session which I attended, India for the World Discussions and Deliberations. And one of our work is being taken by the government of South Africa, which is the World Toilet Colleges, which we worked with Gramalaya also, to be done in South Africa in next year when the World Toilet Day comes. In the similar way, I also want to make sure like this whole journey is taken across the globe, and this will not be possible if, as the hashtag of this whole campaign says, I am the change. हिंदी में बोलते हैं मेरे 10 गज, मेरे आजू बाजू में 10 गज में क्या है? If we are able to influence the people in our 10 yards, the likelihood of success is very high. It's not my hashtag, it's the hashtag of each one of us. We were trending yesterday, sir, with I am the change. And I look forward like we trend for 365 days so that people are more and more engaged. From 2nd October till yesterday, 5 lakh pledges happened online. But with a country of 1.45 billion and plus, 5 lakh pledges is nothing. We have our own circle of influences. We have our own friends, our families. Let's make it as an agenda which is not driven by people like me. It should be driven at the home, by the homemakers, by the fathers, by the mothers, by the brothers, by the sisters, and by everyone. And wishing you all the best, Damodaran sir, to you and your whole team who has put this together as a 5th summit. Thank you.
Men, please give it a hand once again for Mr. Ravi Bhatnagar. Ladies and gentlemen, now we are moving forward, and now I request to the Padma Shri Damodaran sir to give the welcome speech to everyone. I request everyone, please give it a hand for none other than Padma Shri S. Damodaran sir.
Namaskar. A very good morning to all of you here. It was a wonderful beginning today with the lighting of lamp. Thank you so much for being here. With your august presence, this one-day summit will be a grand event today. My words of thankfulness first goes to Professor Dr. Ravi Bhatnagar ji, who is gracing this occasion, supported this event in a very big way. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. And Professor Mohammed Asif, sir, from Plan India chapter, welcome, sir. Anju ma'am, from Saukhyam Pads, from Kerala, welcome, madam. Dr. Arpan D. Sarkar, Ministry of Jal Shakti, Economist, Management Consultant, welcome you, sir. Welcome. And our first ambassador of our first summit, Mrs. Sneha, Shergill, madam, welcome you, madam. Thank you so much. And all our friends from Gramalaya, colleagues, without your presence, madam, the delegates and speakers, this event would not have been achieved such a grand 5th MHM summit. Some of you here are attending all our 4 summit earlier. I am really thankful to all of you. When everyone met me here in the morning, they are all telling us, your team is working very hard. They are very, very prompt in their communications. And they are very closely working with everyone involved in the summit. Actually, Ravi sir prepared your speech, sir. I couldn't able to prepare my speech. I was supposed to make a detailed note of thanking you all, but I am not prepared because of organizing this summit. It's a very, very, really a tough job for entire team working here. But it is our pleasure meeting you all. Without your presence, without your support, this summit will not be a great success. Because of you only, we are conducting this summit every year. That is possible because of your august support. That I must be thankful to you. This is our 5th MHM India Summit. Now we have done a lot of experimentation, R&D in the sector. Last summit at Bharat Mandapam, when it was conducted, Ravi sir was in the announcement of 200th menstrual waste free village, where the Panchayat president was present. After that, within a year, we could reach another 50 villages as menstrual waste free villages, where people are using only eco-friendly cloth pads and menstrual pads. They completely stopped the use and throw sanitary napkins, commercial sanitary napkins. And you can't see in all these 250 villages the menstrual waste, the sanitary pads thrown on the streets, water bodies, and in the buses. Very recently, we have announced India's first menstrual waste free school in Pudukkottai district in Tamil Nadu. Ravi sir, after his speech, he is going to make an announcement here. Why we need to concentrate more on our environment, preserving our environment and our mother earth is more important for us. Gramalaya, though, could able to serve in the water and sanitation sector, wash sector for almost 4 decades, myself involved from 1984 onwards. My first visit to Delhi was 1984. I was just overexcited seeing all the Delhi and Jantar Mantar. Yesterday I have come across Red Fort, Lal Killa, all these things. But 40 years, after 40 years, I could see a lot of developments in India. India is a powerful nation now. We are going to achieve our Viksit Bharat, Swasth Bharat in 2047. Ravi sir, through his Reckitt programs, Detal Banega Swasth India program, making lot of allocations towards these expenditures in making our country Swachh India and Swasth India. We are one of their esteemed partners of Reckitt, sir. Thank you so much for continuously supporting almost for the past 5 years. We could able to reach 20,000 plus schools in Tamil Nadu alone, covering Puducherry, all over India. Millions of school children are being taught on hygiene messages, particularly washing our hands with soap. That really made to work with all of you. My sincere thanks to the Bank of America for continuously supporting over the past 10 years, making ODF villages, open defecation free villages, every households with 100% toilet coverage. And also with schools with girls-friendly toilet structures. We are talking very often about period-friendly infrastructures at the schools and workplaces and marketplaces. We could able to provide 1,200 plus government schools in South India with girls-friendly toilet structures. No incinerator in these schools. No use and throw sanitary napkins. Hand washing stations are there. Privacy for the women to change their reusable pads. That is our work. The government of India has recognized our work as a key resource center in providing training and capacity building for the government officials, NGOs. More than 100 plus NGOs and microfinance for water and sanitation was introduced by Gramalaya in India. Water Aid started their work first from Trichy, sir. We are the first recipient of Water Aid. Now they could be able to reach. Our Neeraj Jain sir is the country director of Water Aid for some time. Now he is leading Path NGO. But I am one of the first recipient of Water Aids. And from Trichy it has started and making a global presence and pan-India operations. Like that, I was heading water.org. That time it was Water Partners International. Gary White and Matt Damon, Hollywood actor, visited our places and made me as a country director for India and later on regional director for India and Bangladesh. So vast experience I had with the donor organizations and also NGOs. But before I conclude my speech, 30 years we have concentrated only on water, sanitation, hygiene, personal hygiene, hand washing. But only at a later stage, in 2015, we came to know that MHM is a neglected one. And we could see many of the schools without toilets facilities, water facilities, no girls-friendly structures. That was the problem there. Women used to go from the schools to their house to change their sanitary napkins, to wash their hands, because no water in the schools those days, no privacy for the girls studying in the schools, school dropouts. That is why we have entered into this MHM sector in 2015. Myself experienced the problem of disposal of used sanitary napkins. In my own house, my wife, she is here. Vijaya, Ji, she is my wife. Come, please come. Come to the stage. Sir, I will take 5 more minutes, sir. She is my wife. Yeah. It is my daughter. Okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Why? The reason I am introducing my wife here, whenever I used to go to the bathroom to take my bath, I could see the dustbins filled with sanitary napkins. 2 daughters, my wife, 3 of them, almost every week, they used to get menstruation. And they throw their used soiled napkins in the dustbin. But my wife don't want to throw it away in the streets or in the open areas. I will be asking every time, why you are keeping this? She will tell, how can I put this outside? Only the sanitary workers need to dispose it, handle it. Then later on, I felt that even some of, it is a private matter, even I used to tell, because every woman is facing the problem now, every adolescent girl is facing the problem. Lot of health issues associated with menstruation, stomach pains, irregular periods, overbleeding, all, you know all. So I was facing all these problems. So thinking about why not we can introduce, like our mothers used those days, the cloth. So I have done a lot of R&D in that. Field tested the idea of reusable cloth pads. Can you give one cloth pads? Reusable cloth pads. Then I gave it to my wife. She used that. Then she gave a lot of feedback. Size should be there. It should be stitched neatly. No Velcro in that. Buttons should be there. All. It should be so soft. More layers. Leak proof in that. All these things. First field tested in my own house with my wife and my 2 daughters. 2 years. 2 years I field tested. Then I gave it to my Gramalaya's female staff members. They used it for 1 year. After 3 years only, we have introduced the reusable, washable cloth pads. Those days, none of the websites mentioning about reusable cloth pads, eco-friendly cloth pads, or their websites mention about what is menstrual hygiene management and health. Now, if you go and visit our website, you can see all this information in our website. That is our achievement. You are all here because of our work, because of your work. We learn every year from each one of you, making presentations, sharing your knowledge, best practices, making cross-fertilization of ideas, making a synergy among all of us. That is the best part of this summit. Thank you so much for coming all the way. It was a wonderful day. You are going to make this happen. Once again, my sincere thanks to all our press members, NGO friends, policy makers, government officials, bureaucrats, advocates, and all those present here. Wonderful, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
And that was Padma Shri S. Damodaran ji. Give it a hand once again. What a truly inspired journey. I think we're going to need to listen a lot of stories like this today. People are going to share their reviews, their stories, and of course, the change makers that we are seeing in you. Each and everyone is a change maker over here. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the next speaker. Please welcome Mohammed Asif, sir. Give it a hand and let's welcome, please.
Good afternoon or good morning. Sorry, still morning. Thank you, Damodaran ji, for giving me this opportunity to be here on this very important subject, the 5th Menstrual Hygiene Management India Summit. My dear friend and fellow traveler towards gender equality, child rights and social development, Professor Ravi Bhatnagar, all the eminent people on the dais. I feel truly honored to be here to share a few words with regards to a very important subject. In fact, for me, this is one of the most important development topics because it is one theme which transcends a number of issues. It's an issue in terms of health, public health. When we are talking about menstrual hygiene and health, it's about public health, it's about gender equality, it's about education, it's about livelihoods. So there's so many things which are intertwined within one subject, and I'm so delighted that we have taken on as a civil society, partnering with the government to see how we can make a measurable and decisive improvement in the space of achieving menstrual equity, eliminating period poverty. A few things I just wanted to share because I felt this is such an important subject. I normally love to speak extempore, but I thought I'll like to go back to my written notes because that's something which... So it's the most important thing about our conversation here is that it's about breaking the silence, and we did heard earlier speaker, Ravi Bhatnagar and Ms. Bist, Anju Bist ji, she talked about that there's so much of silence around this subject. We have to talk about stigma and champion the cause that affects us all. This is a cause, it's not just a problem for women, it's a problem for girls as it has been made out to be. It's a problem for everybody. It's for the men, for boys, for families, for communities, for countries, and therefore that's how it needs to be looked in. Because time is short, I don't want to get more details, and my earlier speakers have kind of elaborated much on it. So what we are talking about is that through this summit, and I'm talking about now Plan International India chapter, which is my organization commonly called as Plan India. At Plan India, we are trying to fix three things. One, we are well aware that there are large number of women, particularly from underprivileged sections of our society, who are still not been reached by the message of menstrual health and hygiene, and therefore it's critical for us to take the message of hygiene, sanitation, health, reproductive impact that lack of hygiene could have, so that every woman understands the importance and significance of safe menstrual practices, and therefore our effort has to be in terms of spreading awareness. At the same time, we have to also work with men and boys. We have to tackle the myths, misconceptions, the stereotypes, the taboos that are there, particularly in the men and boys, so that periods are seen as normal, and there is a lot that we need to work towards in that space, particularly in our country, but globally as well. And the third is, because period or menstrual equity involves product, a menstrual product, because that's something very critical. How do you create access of menstrual products to women at the time when they need, across all classes, rich, poor, middle class, rural, urban, living in the hills, in the forests, or in the villages. So these are the three things that needs to be tackled, and I'm so glad that we have what I call the coalition of the willing here in this room, where everybody is committed towards ensuring that we are able to work together to achieve menstrual equity, ensure that every woman has menstrual hygiene as a right and not just as something good to do, good for her. So from that lens, I think there's a lot that has been achieved. There's a lot we need to do. And it's very important to share that this is a conversation not just happening in our country, it's happening globally as we speak. India is part of the Global Menstrual Equity Accelerator, and to share it with you all here, that you have UBS, one of the largest banks. They are part of the UBS Foundation, is part of the accelerator. Global Citizen is part of the accelerator. There's lots of other corporate entities who are part of the accelerator. And the whole idea is that we need to work together to ensure that this menstrual hygiene becomes a right for every girl, every woman. And it's no longer seen as something which is good to do. It's something which is critical, important to do. And when we are talking about Viksit Bharat, we are talking about Nari Shakti, I think this becomes all the more critical for each one of us. And therefore, before I end, let me take the opportunity to thank Gramalaya leadership team and each one of us here in the room for coming together to solve a very important public health, gender equality question. And at Plan India, we are committed, and we will not rest until and unless period poverty is stamped out, menstrual equity is available to every woman, every girl as a right. And thank you for giving me this opportunity. But before I end, just one thing, because this is a subject which is also, and we do have talked about something, there is taboo, there is secrecy. I would request that at least on this subject, on this theme, let's not use an acronym. I'll try to say, let's elaborate, let's call it out as menstrual hygiene management, menstrual hygiene, and not just MHM. That's something which I wanted to share from this platform. Thank you for giving me this opportunity, and all the best for the success of this summit. Thank you.
Again, please give it a hand for Mohammed Asif. We have someone who's going to share something about the realistic things. So now I'm going to invite them on stage. Please give it a hand, and let's welcome none other than Miss Anju Bist. Give it a hand and let's welcome them, please. Please do an honor.
Good morning, everybody. So, respected Damodaran sir, Ravi Bhatnagar sir, and all the esteemed guests on the dais, off dais. So, another year, we are braving the Delhi winter, the Delhi pollution, and gathering together This feels like a homecoming, isn't it? So many familiar faces, maybe 50 plus organizations that are working in different areas of menstrual health and hygiene. 5th year in a row. And sir, like you mentioned, Bhatnagar sir, I don't think we will need 20 years to solve the problems with all the collective energy that is in this room. There are doctors here, there are NGO founders here, there are social organizations, social entrepreneurs, men-led organizations, women-led organizations. We saw the bikers coming halfway, not halfway, the full length of India, marching on this cause. So, Gramalaya told us about 300, nearly 300, 250 plus villages that have gone completely sanitary napkin waste free. Let's take a moment and understand what does that really mean. Say, 500 girls or women in these villages. If you do the quick math, maybe it's 100 tons of non-biodegradable waste that we have prevented. Is that a small number? So we are working in Uttarakhand, and the flash floods, because of climate change, everything is messed up. The flash floods that happened up in the upper reaches of the Himalayas, but people living in the plains like Dehradun, Rishikesh, and so on, guess what they said that they saw around their homes after the floodwaters receded. So floodwaters are coming from the upper reaches of the Himalayas due to the flash floods. They're flowing down. What are they carrying with it? Most number of diapers, used diapers, and sanitary napkins. So 100 tons of non-biodegradable waste prevented is not a small number. Today it's 300 villages. Tomorrow it's 3,000 villages, 30,000 villages. Isn't it? 3 lakh villages, 6 lakh villages. That's all the villages that there are there in India. Can our collective efforts not do that? I see a lot of nods. I think collaboratively. So, sir, you all put together so much effort to bring us here year after year. I think on behalf of all the 50 plus organizations that are there, I would like to say that we would love to co-create solutions so that we don't have to take 20, 25 years to solve the problems that are there. The solutions are there. They just need to be implemented. They just need to be scaled. What are the problems? What are we talking about? What are we wanting to solve? So today's, we have the panel discussions. I think we will get wonderful insights from all of the speakers' works and listening to them. But if I had to just reflect, what are the 3 big problems that have to be solved? Maybe we would put it down to health, environment, and perhaps we love to blame the government, but let's see what the government is doing right. Let's look at that. So we were talking about Gramalaya, 250 villages and so much of non-biodegradable waste prevented. There's also one more statistic that I want to share. These many number of girls, it would translate to 870 tons of carbon dioxide equivalent emissions that are prevented. Now, what is the relationship between disposable sanitary napkins or our period products and climate change, you may ask, isn't it? How is going to reusable benefiting the planet in terms of climate change also? So India imports $500 million worth of cellulose fiber every year for making sanitary napkins. Sanitary napkins are made in India. However, the the ingredients, the raw material is coming from somewhere else. We're buying it from US, from China, from wherever else. And how is cellulose fiber made? It is made by cutting down trees. So paper बनता है पेड़ों के कटने से, ये हम सबको पता है, बच्चे बच्चे को पता है. Even small children know that. But we do not know that the absorbent material in our sanitary napkins is also made in much the same way as paper is made and by cutting trees. And in today's day and age of climate change, you know, sure, we want everyone to have menstrual hygiene products. But are those products, you know, do we want to cut more and more trees, even if they have plantation trees, to make such products? That perhaps is a debate that can be had. So definitely environment is something to solve for. We talked about health. And this has been the focus of our work for the past year and a half. There are doctors here who, sir, we met them at the menstrual hygiene conclave. And that's how we started talking and we started collaborating. Yesterday, we were at the Indian Council for Medical Research, ICMR. And they are also taking very strong note of this, I should say, pandemic-like situation. I don't want to be very dramatic, and I'll take maybe 2-3 minutes more. You know, COVID was a very visible pandemic, isn't it? All of us dealt with its aftermath, with government's mobilized support and so on. And thank God, problems were solved and we have come out of it. Our work has shown us, and I'm sure many of you will resonate, that the menstrual health disorders in young girls today is also a pandemic-like situation. PCOS, PCOD, reproductive health issues. I'm not trying to sell reusable products, but again, we have seen that a shift from disposable to reusable, just that one change alone, nothing else, just that one change, and it takes 2 to 3 months for girls to start healing. More doctors need to be, you know, working on this, speaking up more. I think Dr. Smita is here, who has presented papers at several conferences on this issue based on her work. This is something that it's a reproductive health of entire generations. We need to be taking it very seriously. Today we are far beyond. आज हम चुप्पी तोड़ चुके हैं. Menstruation के बारे में जो चुप्पी होती थी, वो तोड़ के हम आगे बढ़ रहे हैं. पर किस तरफ हम आगे बढ़ रहे हैं, कहाँ हमें जाना है? So over the last decade, this narrative was built that cloth is unhygienic. We heard about Damodaran sir, his efforts to make a reusable pad that he first tested with his family members. Today there are perhaps 30 excellent reusable pad brands in India, and many of them are there at the back. I don't think we look at each other as competitors. We look at each other as collaborators, as people working for the same goal, helping to make this mission huge. Menstrual cups, period panties, reusable pads, all of us are part of the same solution set. How can governments help? And again, this is something that perhaps we can strive for. At least the government has changed its narrative that kapda is no longer looked at as unhygienic. In the 2019 Family Health Survey, anybody using cloth was also looked at as this is a hygienic means. But government can help scale adoption, either put in the recycling infrastructure, stop subsidizing disposables, and start scaling up reusable solutions. So just with these thoughts, thank you again to this entire ecosystem. Looking forward to learning today and co-creating with all of you. Thank you.
Please give it a hand for Miss Anju Bist. Ladies and gentlemen, now we have the next speaker and there is some small presentation she's going to present here. Please give it a hand and let's welcome Mrs. Sneha Shergill.
Do you know those irritating people who walk around everywhere, go around in their communities? They're very nosy, they have to see what's happening everywhere. Kyun ho raha hai, kaise ho raha hai? I'm one of them. That is how I went and attended the water conference in Bangalore in 2019, and that's where I met Damodaran sir. Since then, I've been working with him in whatever capacity I can and supporting Gramalaya. So, good morning. I will not say ladies and gentlemen because I think by now we've already become MHM family, menstrual hygiene and management family. We see some new faces here and I am sure for the next event as well, you will all be present here. I'm Sneha Shergill and as the brand ambassador for Gramalaya, I would like to welcome each one of you once again. Thank you for making time. And sir correctly chooses winters for the conference so that aap sirf baithe na rahe, aap tali bhi bajaye. Okay? So a huge round of applause. You've clapped for everybody. But this one is specially for each one of you because you have been achieving so much throughout the year, all the work and all the effort that you have put in. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. And this step was taken by a man who is dear to all of us. Through his hard work for about 40 years, his endurance, vision, mission, he has set a benchmark for what a life that is completely dedicated to the welfare of human society should look like. He is none other than our Padma Shri, Shri Sairam Damodaran sir. Sir was awarded Padma Shri in 2022 by Ramnath Govindji, the President of India, for his social work. Since 1987, Sir has led his entire life devoted to promote household toilet facilities and has been working with the central and the state government as well as the international donor organizations. The Ministry of Jal Shakti has approved Gramalaya as one of the National Key Resource Center under Jal Jeevan mission by the Ministry of Drinking Water and Sanitation. Sir's ultimate goal is to uplift the socially downtrodden people so that each person can live with equal rights, has access to safe water, sanitation facilities, better health and menstrual hygiene, as well as improved source of income without any gender discrimination. What a beautiful vision, but easier said than done. Why? Because we all know when we are working at the grassroots level and you walk into a different community, आप expect नहीं कर सकते कि आप वहाँ जाएं, आप उनको बोले ऐसा करो और वो आपको follow करेंगे. Right? It really doesn't work like that. So, we become listeners. We completely immerse ourselves into the lives of the very people we hope to uplift, soaking in their culture, understanding their social dynamics, their fears, their inhibitions, their hopes, their hopeless routines, the weights of which that they have been carrying for generations and silently. That is where we begin to understand what shapes their behavior so that we can make a meaningful impact in their lives, eventually leading to a complete transformation. As they say, you cannot understand the water by standing on the shore. This skill of listening to understand, this speaking last but acting first, is one of Sir's greatest leadership skills, ladies and gentlemen. Please give him a huge round of applause for that. And it is also an honor for me today to present to all of you Gramalaya's recent success story at Pudukkottai district in Tamil Nadu. This is one of the most economically and educationally backward districts in Tamil Nadu. As you can see, with 13 blocks, 499 panchayats, and 4,062 villages all across the district. Based on research by the team, since we also have less time, during the course of the day, I would request each one of you to please connect with the team and try and understand the challenges, the strategies that the team employed, and how they achieved the mark that we are standing at right now. These are the challenges that, based on research, the team has been able to identify, post which they came up with a 7-step strategy. And they decided to employ the washman model. That's water, sanitation, hygiene, menstrual hygiene and management, and nutrition. A selected area which was then turned into a model village for the rest of the district. I would also like to share this with you that Gramalaya first ensured that there is safe drinking water for everybody, and they also have close to 500 rainwater harvesting plants have already been installed in the Pudukkottai district. Then came the smart toilets and educating people about how to use them and the maintenance of these toilets. They've provided hygiene education, hand wash, menstrual hygiene and management awareness so that the behavioral impact is long-lasting, and also encouraged the adolescent girls and women to understand the importance of nutrition and the healthy diet, their healthy diet. They were introduced to the eco-friendly, sustainable period products like cloth pads. So I will quickly take you through the visual journey of Pudukkottai district, pre and post intervention by Gramalaya. These are some of the pictures. I don't know how many of you are aware that this is called Muttu Kuchu in Tamil. This is a period house which is a part of every village. So every girl or a woman who comes on her menstrual cycle is isolated, made to stay here. And if you notice, this house does not have a door. So safety, dignity, and privacy, all of them were severely challenged for these women. You can also see the cloth that they've been using, the panties that were hidden and tucked under the roof. Socially ostracized, shamed, embarrassed, not included in any kind of discussions, not even allowed to go and tend to their own children. Sleep on the floor, because if you use the mattress, you will end up doing extra physical labor. Then you have to wash the mattress and keep it back inside. So, ab zameen pe soiye. And if the house is not available, then they were also forced to sleep on the street. Superstitions. Sit on the broomstick to take away the period pain. Apply holy ash to reduce the cramps. Use neem leaves to keep the evil energies away. And also in some cases, tying a thread on their big toe to reduce the pain. Sesame oil, pata hai sabko? So they used to apply sesame oil on their palm, raise it against the wall this way, to do what? To delay their periods. So agar ghar mein shaadi hai, and if they want to travel, this is the method they would use to delay their period cycle, or go and hug the palm tree. In the kitchen, do not touch any of the groceries. Do not touch turmeric, jasmine flowers, जो भी आप religious activities के लिए use करते हैं. You're not allowed to touch any of it. And if you see, the shopkeeper is still giving the pad wrapped in the newspaper. Girls, If they still go to school after starting their periods, they were isolated and made to sit at the back. And then, in case if they stained their dress, we can all imagine the amount of shame and embarrassment they must have been put through. The first picture is one of the toilets in the school, one of the schools, where the pads were just thrown openly. We all know that if it's not thrown this way, then they get burnt. Once they get burnt, dioxins are getting released in the environment. If they don't get burnt and the sanitary workers do come to collect the waste, then the pads are mixed with other household garbage. फिर कौन segregate करता है? Sanitary workers. कैसे? Gloves तो ये पहनते नहीं हैं. So they use bare hands to segregate their menstrual waste. Acha, if you don't do all this, then you also have the chance to dig and bury the pad. Now these women don't know this is more than 90% plastic. And this will not decompose. And ye yahan rahega for more than 600 to 800 years, right? So they dig it. If they don't dig it and bury it, then they throw it in the open water sources. Now I have particularly been working with the community because I'm also very close to animals. So I have seen several dogs, even cows, who are scavenging in the garbage bins for food. They end up eating the pads. And you will not believe the number of animals today who are suffering with cancer and so many health conditions. You can also see the aquatic life. Jo fish hai, the fish are coming and nibbling on the soiled pads that are thrown in the river water. The villagers also come and collect this water for their daily requirement. So what are we spreading? Now, after the intervention, Gramalaya has built 3,520 smart toilets, which are zero waste toilets for the district. Yes, ek kaam karenge, ab tali bajne denge, I'm going to go very fast. This is how the toilet looks. They were also taught on the proper usage. They were educated on the proper usage and the maintenance of these toilets. Taking a breath, because this looks like ये हमारा देश नहीं होगा ना, मतलब हमारे आजू-बाजू ऐसा होता नहीं है, so हमें लगता होगा अच्छा ऐसे होता है, because everybody who is living in the urban societies really doesn't think much about all this. But yes, there are still people who are going and living with the basics, still waiting for the basics to reach them. Gramalaya has trained 1,089 school teachers in Pudukkottai district. They've trained 911 Anganwadi workers, 3,059 washmen volunteers, which, ladies and gentlemen, is not a small achievement. 47 community-led sanitation programs through these kind of small rallies. 47 participatory rural approach programs. The jars that you see in front, each jar symbolizes one of the period cramps or any kind of a symptom, right? The women who come together for these discussions, they put pebbles in the jars based on what they experience the most, and the jar which has maximum pebbles becomes the topic of discussion for that day. So it's a very interesting and fun way to make them come together as a community, reduce the stigma, and make it normal for them to talk about menstruation. There is also door-to-door education, which is happening even right now. The goal is to go and visit all the houses at least once a month. Focused group discussions in schools. 52 school toilets were also built, and pads have been distributed over there for the girls. MG and REGS workers, 52,376. This is the number that they have achieved over the period of 7 to 10 years, approximately. It doesn't stop there, because sir didn't want to not have livelihood for the washman volunteers. So this is the way they have been earning their livelihood. They use the pads, they get the pads from Gramalaya at a very lower cost, and then they are able to promote them in and around their villages. Absolute community welfare. These are the 2 days that are heavily celebrated in all the villages in Pudukkottai district. By way of campaigns, by coming together, friendly conversations, games, referral links. This is, people living in the village are not aware of the medical practitioners and the gynecologists who are living around their village. So Gramalaya also leveraged that network and tried to help the residents of these villages. Snakes and ladder. The box where the snake bites you is one of those practices that we are not following properly in menstrual hygiene. This is also a very fun and interesting way to make them open up, start playing and talking about the topic. They have been pasting posters in all the common areas which are frequented by the villagers. Annual washman volunteers meet where they are given certificates, they are appreciated for their hard work, they get to meet each other, network, have lunch together, and also given awards on certain occasions. So far, donation, 10,000 packs, and each pack has 4 pads. Promotion of 28,114 pads, and in total, 38,114 packs have been promoted in Pudukkottai district. At least once, each one of us must have sat down and done this calculation, right? Like even ma'am said, kitna humne prevent kiya, right? So with Gramalaya's effort, they have prevented 171.5 tons of menstrual waste from polluting and entering into the environment. The first menstrual waste-free village was announced in 2019 at ATK Nagar by Gramalaya. Last year, they announced 200th village. And right now, Sir's humble, so he said 50, but in the last 1 year, they have added another 75 villages to this. So they're standing at a 275th mark. And this is the first school in India which is period-friendly and menstrual waste-free, which is also in Pudukkottai district. Impacted the lives of more than 10 lakh women during the entire course of the project. Now, what drives each one of us to work in this cause is definitely not name, fame, or the applause that we receive. What drives us is the impact, the dignity, the normalcy that we can restore to all these lives, and equity. After Gramalaya's intervention, this Muttu Kuchu, this period house, has become non-existent in most of the villages in Pudukkottai. So the greatest, the greatest gift, actually, the greatest gift that we receive is the human smile after the work that we've done. A smile that says without words, thank you for making our lives a little better. And as the proverb reminds us, blessed are those who plant the trees under whose shade they may never sit. Right? Thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much for your patience. Thank you so much for all the work that each one of you do. And we really hope you enjoy today's session, all the networking and knowledge sharing, and come back again every year. Please keep up all the good work that you do, because every act of kindness creates a ripple effect across the river, and in the wash sector, every drop counts. Thank you so much, all of you. Thank you.
Now it's time to call the next speaker. Please give it a hand and let's welcome Mr. Arpan de Sarkar.
Good morning, everybody, the distinguished guests and the distinguished speakers and Shri Damodaran ji. So I have been strictly informed that I have only 2 minutes and 45 seconds. So we are running late today. So we are going to say good afternoon after a few minutes. So, but I wish to touch few verticals and for all the participants to elaborate on these verticals as the day passes on or the day progresses. That there are 4 pillars which cannot be untouched when we discuss MHM. I must not say MHM. Mr. Asif just told that we should elaborate this. So these 4 verticals is, the first is the access of the related products, infrastructure and services, if any. So when I call it access, it comes with affordability as well as the accessibility and acceptability of the society. The second vertical is that access to clean water, sanitation and disposable infrastructure. The third vertical is that the knowledge about the menstrual health to the young girls and women, specifically who suffer most, the disadvantaged, the low-income groups, or those who used to travel for their works. And the fourth one is the most important one. That is the freedom from stigma, taboo, and discrimination attached to it. So, by profession and by education, I'm an economist, so I just can't avoid the economics associated with it. It is not just a social cause. The entire MHM is related with productivity, education, health, and at large, it is not just related to a private affair. It impacts the individual, the family, or the household, the community at large, and obviously the entire nation. So we all know these, but we need further deliberation on all of these, because we know that because of lack of facilities, girls, they used to miss school on particular days. And if I say different studies mentioned by different development agencies, that one additional year of education always bring about 10 to 20% extra income in their lifetime. So whenever they misses the school, those absenteeism, those lead to dropouts, and ultimately the girl child, they do not continue the school because of lack of infrastructure. Here comes the role of the government as well as the private players. And through a couple of our national flagship missions, Jal Jeevan mission and Swachh Bharat mission, we are providing water connection to all the institutions, the schools, Anganwadi centers, alongside all the households of this country. And SBM is providing the such toilets in each schools across the country, as well as in each and every rural and urban households. So MHM has a deep impact on the productivity and the labor market and labor participation of women. If we do not provide them the infrastructure as per their necessities. So we are actually losing our workforce. If I simply, my fingertips assumptions are that 50% of the labor force comes from women. So if we are not able to assist them with requisite infrastructure, products, and facilities, so we are missing their outputs. So we are losing our GDP that Professor Bhatnagar was mentioning at the onset. The second thing that I have already mentioned about the girls' education and all. The third one is that healthcare cost. It is not only about the personal healthcare cost. We all know that in such a country like India, where there is a huge number of population, for them the cost associated with MHM products is non-trivial. So in such a country, we must ensure that they get the access to affordable products and the acceptability grows. Padma Sai Damodaran ji is working on this, and the entire Gramalaya team, I would like to thank them for arranging this conference, which is on such an important and noble cause today. Now, my last point, or the last vertical, most probably I have already crossed 2.5 minutes. So last vertical I would like to mention for all of you is the economics associated with it. It is not about the cost of the products, because people have started working on it already. Think about the time savings. The flagship missions like Jal Jeevan mission and Swachh Bharat mission are providing access to water and sanitation to each households and schools. So for that, the safe disposal saves women time otherwise which they used to manage or spend in managing the menstruation. And the macroeconomic impacts I have already mentioned about. If we can manage our better halves or half of our workforce with such facilities, so we can boost our GDPs definitely. And the third thing is that what Professor Bhatnagar mentioned at the onset, that and Ms. Anju Bist also mentioned, that they are not selling any products. It is not about selling the products, but you cannot ignore the market and the multiplier effects associated with MHM. Any development program across the globe is designed after cost-benefit analysis. So if we can do a simple fingertips cost-benefit analysis for MHM, so definitely the cost-benefit ratio will be lesser than 1. That means the cost for providing proper MHM will be much lesser than the benefits. And the multiplier effects are around 10 to 15 for each and every rupee spent on MHM associated service, infrastructure and products can bring back 10 to 15 rupees to this economy. So I would like to thank all of you once again and wish all the success to this important event. Thank you, Damodaran ji. Thank you, entire Gramalaya team.
All the dignitaries are on stage. First of all, we're going to say thank you so much each and everyone for being here, for sharing your lovely thoughts, insightful thoughts, and we are moving forward for that. Now we have from the Gramalaya team, we're going to present the memento and Angavastram. Please requesting Shri Damodaran sir to present the memento and Angavastram to Ravi sir. Give it a hand everyone, please. Thank you, sir, for giving your valuable time, your insightful thoughts, and of course, this journey continues long. Now I request Mohammed Asif sir to present the memento and Angavastram to Manmedu Guru Nandan sir. Now I request, please present the memento. I request Arpan de Sarkar sir to present the memento and the Angvastram to Ellen Govind sir. Once again, I request Arpan de Sarkar sir to please present the memento and Angvastram to Ellen Govind sir. Now I request to Miss Anju Bist to present the memento and Angvastram to Miss Preeti. Now I request Mrs. Sneha Shergill requesting to present the memento and Angvastram to Miss Geeta. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please do the honor and I request Ravi sir to present the memento and Angvastram through Padma Shri S. Damodaran sir. Everyone, please can we have a round of applause? Requesting all the dignitaries, please be on stage for the group picture. Thank you so much, thank you.